Ladies and gentlemen, he's mad as hell and he's not going to take it anymore. Mr. Gary Kroger.
Well, that's an appropriate introduction, Kenny. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and or however you identify, for watching our program or listening to it. I'm Gary. That's Kenny. I am in Vermont. He is in California.
We keep getting further and further apart.
Well, you can't get any further than we are.
You could move across the pond.
I could move across the pond, but in the continental United States, we're just about as far apart as two human beings can be. And I don't like it, Kenny. I don't like being so far from you.
I know, but spiritually we're so connected.
Well, yeah, but we haven't talked in a little while, and I'm being honest. I'm not. I know I sound a little glib.
You always are honest. That's one of the issues I have with you, Gary.
Well, I feel like I'm going to sound a little glib by saying I've needed Kenny fixes.
Oh.
And I have. This show, whether 8 people watch or, God forbid, 9, has always been a little bit of therapy for me.
Yeah, no, me too. We do it for the love of it, because we love it. We don't do it for the money, because we don't get any money.
We certainly aren't doing it. And we aren't really doing it for the viewers, which is, I want to just lay it on the line. There are a lot of podcasts out there, and every celebrity has a podcast, and they have the money to pay for publicists and producers and all of that stuff, and they get A-list celebrities, and we don't have those options available. So we just have you and me for the most part.
You know what we are doing, Gary? We are self-pleasuring ourselves.
Mutual flagellation.
Apparently.
You know what?
And I'm not cleaning up this time.
No, and I think that's actually a better premise than most podcasts. It's mutual self-flagellation.
Yeah, because there's no other reason to do this.
All right.
I do want to mention something, though. As I was thinking about how I was going to introduce you, I said, you know what, because of the whole network thing and the Beal and the world. You've seen the movie Network, haven't you?
Oh, of course.
One of my favorite movies of all time. And I think anybody should see the movie. Anyhow, so they've been bringing up, I've been seeing clips about Network, and that said, you know what, that's how Gary is right now. He's just pissed and he's just not going to take it anymore. Then it occurred to me that when I saw the movie, 1976, I'm at NYU.
Or was it Northwestern?
One of my teachers at TV and film school was a man named Shad Northfield.
Good name.
Shad Northfield, he created CBS Sunday Morning.
Really?
He also worked for NBC. He was the quintessential rough beard, gray beard, talk gravelly voice, 6'2", ex-World War II veteran. And he was a fucking kick-ass, but he was a handsome man.
And super smart.
Super smart. But so I took a class with Shad and, these other people, and he was like, I don't give a fuck. He was totally a scoundrel. Right? He was sleeping with all the girls in the class.
Yeah, that's a scoundrel.
He was a scoundrel. But he was the part of the character that Patty Chayefsky, who wrote Network, based the William Holden character.
For real,
on
this was documented.
Yes, on Shad Northfield, okay? Because a lot of his research, he followed Shad around to make, to write the thing. So so Network is about to premiere. I don't know. I'm at NYU Film School. Shad says to the class, "Hey, I got invited to this opening of this movie Network. You guys are all coming with me." So we all went with him. I sit down like in the second row.
You went with the guy.
I went with Shad and the rest of the class, like 12 others.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right? But I don't know it's cool because nobody ever heard of the movie Network. I didn't know it was a big movie. Yeah. And they let us in. So how big of a movie could have it been? I'm sitting there in the movie theater, second row, and I can remember that specifically. I'm watching the movie, and then I realized, the movie's Patty Chayefsky, and then at the end of the movie, they start applauding. They want Patty Chayefsky to stand up. He stands up and he turns around. He's standing right next to me.
Oh, the whole time you had no idea.
I watched the whole movie next to
with Patty Chayefsky. How did he respond to his film?
Oh, he took the thing. Everybody was very excited. I was blown away by the movie. I mean, nobody had ever seen anything like
I
that.
was too. Now I watched
Midnight
it
Special.
fairly recently,
Midnight
and I
Special.
watched it really for Faye Dunaway,
called
Finch, or
Midnight Special.
Yes.
anything else. I just wonder if you feel like it holds up.
I mean, it rang very true to me back then. I
Yeah.
haven't watched the movie since then, but I would watch it. Well, actually, I actually saw clips of it because they're playing clips of it. I guess it's an anniversary of the
You
show.
could say that it really was a foreshadowing of where we were going,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
Peter Finch couldn't take it anymore, and I can't.
I know you
can't.
And I'm going to give you that moment because I know you're bursting at the seams. Gary's going to
Well,
blow.
I am, and I am, and I'm not, because I don't
Okay.
want to get all, thick with policy or anything. Nobody's gonna.
Okay,
The
before we
8
get
viewers we have are going to turn away.
before we get thick, I just want to mention this. Yesterday was August 1st. Do you know what that date
Very
was?
good.
It's all over my feeds.
August 1st, yesterday. It wasn't the moon landing. That was July. August 1st
A
was
day that will live. Well,
in
I guess it won't
August.
live anymore.
Well,
It's
it's
gone.
not a war
No, it was the
memorial.
debut of MTV. MTV launched 45 years ago.
Yeah, and I remember the launch because I didn't know you yet, but I remembered MTV is launching, and this makes
Well,
sense. I was in Iowa in August 1st, 1980, 81,
1981.
81, and it was a big deal.
Was it a big deal? Because I don't know if we
It was
really
a big deal.
understood at the time that it was a big deal. I don't think, I mean, I didn't foreshadow a lot of the stuff that was happening. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of us, when we got there, it wasn't, and I got there before we launched. The idea I was going to produce and direct the video segments that go in between the music videos. But it wasn't produced like that. We produced the VJ segments at a studio, and we didn't have the music videos where we were. All the music videos were at a place called NOC, Network Operations Center, which was out in Smithtown or a
Network
Smith thing in Long
Operations
Island.
Center. Wow, that sounds
I
like
know,
Big
I know.
Brother.
So we're rehearsing and doing all of this, but we never knew what it was going to look like when it came together because it wasn't on TV. We couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
So we're just producing pieces over here, sending it to them, and then promos are sending them to them. So we even in like the first, it wasn't until August 1st when we launched, I think, that we all saw what it looks like when it came together because it was just pieced together as puzzles.
Well, I was watching with anticipation. I was finishing up my college career. I was a year still from New York and Saturday Night Live. But one thing that I've learned in life, take notes. What I've learned in creative endeavors, what is presented is what the audience assumes was intended. So all this stuff is going on and what's it going to look like, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know that. I simply see these attractive young VJs and videos with my music that was so exciting that, and we were anticipating this. So I made a point of, it's launching right now. And it was probably Mark Goodman that I first saw or
It
whomever.
was Mark Goodman, and I directed the first 5 hours.
Well,
with Mark
there you
Goodman.
go. I don't know Kenny Seisler, but I'm watching this, and you look back at the videos now, and they're like the dinosaurs,
Right.
produced
But
them.
amazing that the first video was "Video Killed a Radio Star."
Video,
How pressing
radio
was
killed the
that?
video star, right? It was very two-dimensional, but at the same time, we were seeing the artists perform their songs, and it was addictive immediately.
Yeah, if I may conjecture,
You
are
may.
taking conjecture?
I'm taking conjectures.
You actually had seen music videos because our first program
Well, heck, the Beatles
was
did
all
music
this
videos.
stuff from all midnight. What was it? Midnight.
Midnight Special.
Yeah.
All those any variety show that had an artist on it. Those were the first clips on MTV. You take a piece from a music from an artist doing the performance on Cher, run that as a
Yeah.
3.5 minute thing. That was it. There was very few music videos being produced. at
Well,
that time.
right. Now, I don't recall the content, to be honest with you. And,
Yeah.
one can argue, and people like to say, well, the Beatles and Strawberry Fields and I Am the Walrus, those are music videos. Those are okay, maybe that's the DNA. But it was the first time I saw an artist deliberately
Yes.
singing to
Right.
the camera with clothes that seemed to fit the
They were
era.
doing it for television. They were doing it as
Yes.
it was a visual medium. It just wasn't the sound. It was not, and that changed everything. That now they had to really consider about, they looked like and the lighting and all.
Right.
I mean, it changed everything. It really did.
Well,
It
and
was a
here
new art
my
form for all intents and
it
purposes.
was a new art form, and I'm 21 or whatever I am, 22. I felt like, and this sounds cliche, but it was television for me. It was television for my generation. It was the VJs were my age, and this seemed like a new
Yeah. So the big
direction.
push. I don't want to make this whole thing the MTV thing because
Well, people
I want to
love
get to the.
they can't get enough MTV stuff. In
Oh,
fact, to be honest with you, I don't mind talking about Saturday Night Live, which we hardly ever talk about.
that's true.
You know,
That's
we have
true.
stories. I love hearing this MTV stuff.
Yes. So the big first thing about that we were trying to sell to people because we wanted to make a difference. You weren't just watching MTV on your television because the sound on your television sucked. So the thing we
Yeah.
were pushing is get MTV in stereo through your cable company. I don't
Yeah,
know if you remember that promotion,
yeah,
but
I do
we
kind of
drove
remember that.
that hard because that was the big difference. Watching MTV without the stereo system set up from your cable company was a completely different experience at home. So
Yeah.
we were to push that. Now, the great perk about being in MTV, and I had a few perks, but the best one was Communicar. Call up a car and they would come pick you up. It was Uber, but we didn't have to pay for it. But the other thing was the perks. One of the perks was I got a TV, it was a tax write-off, right? Cable companies gave me the stereos. Ken Size was the only person that anybody knew that had a stereo TV.
Ah, stereo.
And it was great. And it was great.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you another perk. So then this was 1981, the Hard Rock Cafe is opening on
Cafe.
57th Street.
Sure.
A big opening. They wanted MTV to cover it. So I got invited along with other MTV executives. And it was just these two guys in the beginning. It was all about rock and roll, and that was
Yeah.
the whole basis. And it was just at that time it was just a restaurant. I mean, a bar restaurant.
Right.
So I'm sitting at the booth with two owners, and I mean, I didn't know anything about it. It was just the opening of this place. And the guy says to me, get something that he says, I had this made for you. Oh God, I think I may have it here. I do.
You just happen to have it in your pocket right
No,
now?
no, 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 no. I happen to have it, and I have a whole bunch of like stuff that I was given. So anyhow, people, I don't know if they're going to be able to see this. Can you make
Have you
that
Hard
up?
Rock American Express card?
Yes. And what
Hard
does it
Rock
say?
Express. Okay.
For how
Hard Rock
long?
Express.
For how long?
Lifetime.
For
You're a
lifetime, right?
lifetime. What does that mean? You can charge your
Well,
food
I'm
to Hard
sitting there with
Rock?
the guy, and the guy goes, Ken, as long as you have this card, you can get
You'll
into any.
never.
You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do. And you go right into the VIP room. You show them
Uh-huh.
this. You were a lifetime member of the Hard Rock.
And have you used it?
I put it away or whatever, and then it blew up. And you had the Hard Rock Hotel and the Hard
Yeah,
Rock,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I'm in Vegas, of course. And it's like we see the Hard Rock, and I'm going, "Hey, man,
Take
let's
my
just
card.
go in." And I
It
show
membership
this.
has
No,
privileges.
I show this to everybody there, and they're like, "Who cares?"
No.
Back in line, it means nothing. We don't care.
We don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Burn
cool
it.
though, huh?
I would frame that. Since it's useless, I would put it behind you somewhere in your office,
Well, right now it just
with a
sits in
nice
my.
border.
Right now it just sits in. It
But I'll
sits.
bet you were excited when you got it. I
I
mean,
was.
you probably,
There were a lot of perks that were happening. First of all, Studio 54 was just happening.
yeah,
I got in because I was with
Xenons.
MTV. Yeah, I went right to the front of the line. I gave my MTV business card, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to have. No, I do have it someplace here. And I would show it, and they would let me in.
Ah, Mr. Seisler, yes.
It was
Of
on
course.
Limelight. I don't know if you remember the Limelight
Of course I
downtown.
remember that. The church.
Yeah, the church,
We used to
right?
have SNL parties at all these places, 54, Xenons, Limelight, Xanadu.
There were great perks at the time. You're saying MTV in the beginning in Manhattan. Those were good old days. Those were great days. Did you see the Odyssey?
I knew you'd ask. I'm going to bring both those questions together. What's life like in Vermont? And did you see the Odyssey? The Odyssey's an hour and a half away. So a 3 hour movie and 6 hours or 3 hours of driving. And if I stop to get food, that's an entire day. I don't
But
have
is
a
that
movie
different?
theater.
10 years ago, would there have been a movie theater closer to you?
Yeah, there was a movie theater pre-COVID and through COVID here. in Rutland, but nobody went to movies anymore. It closed up. It's
Right.
now my gym, but I don't have a movie theater to go see the Odyssey, or I would. I saw your review and I thought that sounds pretty what I've heard other friends say.
Right. Right.
But I still desperately want to see it. We'll probably drive to New Hampshire next week just to see the Odyssey, but
And
I
the
haven't
thing
seen
is,
it.
I don't know if you get to see it in IMAX. Will you see it?
There's an IMAX, I think, in Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Okay. So yeah, I did see it in the IMAX, and it didn't make the movie better.
It was louder.
The movie was so loud.
That's what everybody says. So what
They do.
is it necessarily that loud? I mean, I'm practically deaf, so I'll probably go, yeah, the pitch was just right.
Well, I don't know. Everybody that I've talked to who are approximately my age all say the same thing, which is, I mean, because I kept saying getting notifications on my watch. I
Is
kept
it
saying, "Get out of here! It's so loud. You're
right?
gonna die. It's so loud." And it kept going off the whole movie. So
That
yeah,
would be
there
kind of
was that.
funny. Is a bunch of senior citizens going to
They all
see
got our
IMAX and
notifications.
all of their, it's like, yeah.
Yeah. But I also made this observation. I don't think you can do a movie with people who are from the Middle Ages being played by people who have an American accent.
It does hurt the yeah, I know what you're saying. They need to have British accents. British
Yes, because
accents sort of work as Middle Eastern. They sort of,
even on alien planets, if you're going to go to an
yeah,
alien
they have
planet,
an English accent.
they
Yeah.
should have an English accent. So that's what I
So
think.
basically, how, what we're talking about, Matt Damon for the most part,
And
or
Anne Hathaway, I mean, they're all great actors. I mean, I think what's Tom Holland, and fortunately Zendaya was in it because we can't get enough of her. But it just
but
felt flat. It felt flat as doing it with an
if you
American
want to,
accent.
if you want the everything that comes with Matt Damon, and I'm a big Matt Damon fan,
Hmm.
him trying to do a British accent just to sort of keep the fantasy alive,
Would
that
be
works
terrible.
less for me.
Terrible. It would be terrible. No, thank God they didn't try that.
Yeah,
No, 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 no. But all in all, it's exactly what America loves. A spectacle.
a big spectacle,
A
and
spectacle.
it is about something, right? It's coming of age. It really there's a story arc, right, that gives it some relevance. I mean, Chris Nolan,
You mean
I
never
think of
give
as
up?
pretty brilliant.
Is
I
that
don't
the
know. I
story?
haven't
Never
seen
give
it.
up?
Well, I mean,
Well,
I
it's
know
just a 10
Homer.
year, he's trying to get back home. And, it's
Yeah.
all of the obstacles that he has to go through to get home. So I guess the message is keep going, Odysseus.
I don't know. I'm speaking like an idiot. I mean, I read
No,
the
no, no, no,
Odyssey in
no, 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 no.
college.
But by the way, is the whole novel a poem?
Yeah.
That's pretty big. Nobody does that anymore.
Nobody does that. Nobody writes 250-page poems anymore. Nobody.
No, no.
Yeah. Where did that go? Try that, AI.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Hey, you know
she's
what I
working
was
on it.
thinking? Speaking of AI and the critique rather of our program, I
Mm-hmm.
thought there are things that we can talk about.
Hmm.
I don't, I know people will bring up my SNL career, but I have this tendency to be embarrassed by it. And you asked me a question, what was your favorite sketch to do?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, that's not only a good question, I have a good answer.
Oh, good.
Is that my setup there? Should I tell the story? Well,
Yeah.
those of you who know me, or perhaps just fans of the show, to this day, people talk about Ira Needleman. Do you know
Mm.
who Ira
Yes, of course,
Needleman
the
is?
dentist.
The dentist. Well, it only aired twice, and then
Hmm.
maybe reruns periodically, but
Uh-huh.
not often.
Right.
It ran the show it ran, and then there was one retrospective of the year, and I think it made that show. But that's
Okay.
it. So it's not something that you've seen a lot of.
Well,
But
okay.
to
Right.
this day,
Right.
45 years later, people will still say Ira Needleman, that Ira Needleman.
Uh-huh.
My wife, when she met me, said, "You're
But is
Ira
it,
Needleman."
regardless of that, is it your favorite sketch? Meaning,
Yes,
oh, so
it is for two
in what makes
reasons.
it your, yeah, favorite sketch?
Well, I thought it was really well executed, and it gave me the trust of the writers and everybody that I could carry this thing because
Do you
I
remember whose premise it was?
Nate Herman, Elliot Wald, and Andrew Kurtzman. But they didn't tell me who the character was or anything. They just said, "Hey, it's going to be a rock video, and you're a dentist." And so
Okay.
I came up with the character and the language for a lot of it. And, a $30,000 budget in 1984 or
Yeah,
whatever was
no,
a
no,
lot of money. And they're
yeah,
saying,
absolutely.
Kroger, we're
Right.
allowing you to do this thing. So I go to one of those studios on the other side of the Hudson, not the Hudson, it'd be the East River, where the Cosby Show was
Yeah.
done and all that. And there was set designers made this giant pair of lips and had a dentist chair and things like that. And we conspired to do this video with Broadway dancers, one of whom was BB Newirth. Did you know
Oh,
that?
no, I did not.
BB Newirth was just this Broadway dancer. And I remember thinking to myself, God, I wish I weren't married because she was so flirty, not in a crass way, but just so open and funny that I thought, oh, this is the kind of person
Now,
I should
most
be
people will
dating.
know her from Cheers. Was it
Cheers.
Cheers?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lilith.
As what was her character?
Lilith.
Lila.
Lilith on
Yeah,
Cheers.
yeah. But she was
Relation.
started out as a dancer on Broadway, right?
Yeah, and here she's doing for a day's pay um, my little rock
Right.
video sketch. So it came together, but the song was done previously at the record plant where John Lennon had just finished, just a few years earlier,
Right.
Double Fantasy. Dave Spinoza, John Lennon's guitarist, is my guitarist.
Isn't that
So
cool?
all these top session people are doing this song, and my name is Needleman, and I decide I'm going to make it a little bit Springsteen and so on. Long story short, it all came together in this very funny video with great
Right.
production value,
Right.
and it required my performance to make it
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
Keegan Michael Key, from Key and Peele, or Peele and Key,
Hmm.
whatever, Jordan
Yeah.
Peele, and
Yeah.
came up to me, and I actually read a quote of his once that when he was a little boy, he watched Saturday Night Live, and Ira Needleman was what informed him of how far comedy could go, that it could be physical and it could have double entendres, because that was the joke, let me fill you with my drill and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And he
but
said it opened his
okay.
mind to sexy comedy.
Well, I could see what it did do because it was one of the um, beginnings. I mean, I know they had done it before of separate pieces that were filmed earlier and rolled into the
Yeah,
show, as opposed to being a
right,
live sketch.
right.
And Key and Peele, they did everything after all of their stuff. I think were
Yeah.
filmed stuff differently. But I am curious because I understand that making that little mini movies what must have been sensational. Was there a live sketch that was your favorite,
Yeah.
or your
Oh,
worst?
well, yeah, my favorite live sketch was I had written with Shelley Goldstein, this fabulous writer, back in college. We wrote this thing about it. It's when gay men were having a lot of difficulty coming out and telling their families.
Hmm.
So we did this, improvised this sketch for a college comedy show where I come home to tell my father that I'm straight. And then you
Okay.
realize that my father's gay and he's so disappointed he raised a straight son.
Right.
It wasn't making fun of gay
Hmm.
people by any stretch.
Right.
It was making fun of people for making that uncomfortable.
Right.
So we brought that to Saturday Night Live, and Howard Hessman from
Hmm.
WKRP,
Hmm.
he comes from not the Compass Players, but the association, one of the
Yeah. Yeah.
committee, the
Yeah. The
committee,
comedian.
one of the great improv groups. And he committed to being the father in this. And he's so hysterically funny because he doesn't play him as gay, but you realize that the guy on the phone named Cliff must be his lover, and he's dropping hints about, well, he's coming home, I hope we go to the gym, whatever,
Right.
whatever. I bought him a Subaru. And I come home and I make the confession, and it was a real acting piece for me because I didn't play it for funny. What I loved about it is Howard committed to the sketch and the lines, and so did I. So we did it as a theatrical piece. We didn't use cue cards.
Well, wait a second. I would think that a barometer of success of the sketches would be more about what got the most or biggest laughs.
Well, that's just it. Is this didn't get a big laugh because it's like it's kind of funny, it's awkward. Oh, the poor kid, they assumed he's going to tell his dad that he's gay. When I said, "Dad, I'm straight," it was the biggest gasp I've ever heard in the show. It was,
So so it was the
oh my God.
reaction.
Yeah,
It
it
got a
was the
big reaction.
biggest reaction.
Do
But
you
what I
remember?
loved,
Do you remember the sketch that was the worst that you're out there and you're going, I can't wait till this is over?
probably for me, it would be Roy Scheider, and I remember nothing about the sketch. I remember nothing except that he's hawking scalper tickets outside of a ball game or something. And I come on as a fan and I delivered the wrong line. And I watched an actor that I admire, adore, have fire in his eyes on live TV. And
Yeah,
I had
that's
to stand out there and watch him flail to try to correct my mistake. And I just wanted to die. I was
yeah.
afraid to go up to him at the after party and everything. It's like I had one setup line and
You felt
I
bad the whole time, right? You felt
the
so
whole
bad.
time. Yeah. That's when you just want to
Okay,
die.
so a big thing that they talk about is that did you ever break character while you were doing the sketches?
One of the things allegedly Lorne Michaels hates when actors would, but with Jimmy Fallon and so everybody has a reel now that you can get on YouTube of them
Right,
breaking. And the
right.
audience loves it, but I always thought that was a Carol Burnett, Harvey Korman cheap way to get a
It
laugh.
is. Well, no, it's cheap. We get people do get a kick out of it, but because it breaks down the wall. You see the
It
real.
breaks down the wall. You see that they're real, but I always thought it was a real cop out. And so I never did except once ish.
Okay.
And that is when Don Rickles was playing Friar Tuck, and I was Romeo, and Julia was Juliet, and Joe Piscopo comes on. I couldn't even tell you the line, but he threw the script out the window and he
Okay.
just started making fun of Joe Piscopo's performance and everything, and you knew there was no way to get back. So if you see the sketch, I'm back there breaking a smile, and you know that it's over.
I will look for it on
You'll
YouTube.
look
That's for
for it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We all smiled, even Julia, who is of the same cloth that I am. You don't break character. And
Yeah.
Brad
No.
came out and he made fun of Brad, and I smiled.
Right. I get it, but again, it is something that, and it does go back to the Carol Burnett show or any of those other sketch shows, is that it's such a real moment that you get a kick out of it. You think of it, and the producer thinks that because they want control over, they want to be, this is, I'm an actor, I'm using my lines, I'm doing my lines, I'm doing my performance, and that's my responsibility here. That's how you
Yes.
perceive it. And a producer like Glenn Michaels perceives it as, I've got a script here, I've got a schedule here, stay on the script, I can stay on my schedule.
Well, you know what my code was? Somebody wrote this and they wrote it this way for a reason. This is their little sketch. This is their
Uh-huh.
play.
Right.
And when you go south on it, you just fucked up their writing.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a writer's perspective going, I just shit on your piece,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you can never get it back after that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, it happened in a sketch of mine where somebody got, not where they broke, well, there was one other time I didn't break character, but the first show I was on, I am Barney Fife, and Eddie Murphy is Floyd, and Joe Piscopo's the town drunk. Brad is um, Jim Neighbors.
Hmm.
It was, and actually Ronnie Howard was the guest. So he comes
Right.
back to Mayberry,
Right.
and it's all changed. And Eddie Murphy gets everybody's name wrong or something. It made all the blooper reels for a long
Right.
time. Is
Right.
oh Floyd? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm Floyd or whatever. It was something like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
to see Eddie Murphy screw up was a landmark moment. So
Hmm.
I was involved in that. But I wrote a sketch about Walter Mondale moving to upper Minnesota after he lost so badly. And he would cry so often, sounding like a moose, that it would attract moose to the area, so the hunting population increased. So
Right,
Billy
right.
Crystal and Chris Guest came in as hunters, and they
Uh-huh.
realized I was Walter Mondale. And Chris's line was supposed to be, "Did you really promise to raise taxes?" Which Mondale had come out to say, "Look, I got
Mhm.
to be honest with you, I'm going to raise
Right.
taxes." But he came out and said, "Did you really promise to drop taxes?"
Oh
Which
my.
destroyed the
Wow.
joke, destroyed the joke, destroyed the moment. In fact, the sketch never recovered because that joke was necessary to show how he fucked up.
How did you respond? Did you just say yes or
I
went with the
just,
script or whatever? Or?
well, I think I just said, I thought it was a good idea at the
Oh,
time. I
right.
just kept, and then I'd go into, oh, it was a funny sketch that could have been perfect.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
those
Okay,
are my
so
stories.
let's do one last anecdote. And I want to
Okay.
know. So after every Saturday Night Live performance, most people, most of the cast, goes out with the host and
Yeah.
parties.
Yeah.
How hard did you party?
Very hard.
So what, like you'd go to what time in the morning after show's over, everybody's on that adrenaline high.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to tell this story. I got to be careful here. Um, yeah, everybody's out, and I wasn't married, so this was just, I didn't have anybody to go home to. No one I was responsible for. One night we're at the after party with Huey Lewis, great
Yeah.
guy, and it's 6 o'clock in the morning, and there are these young women who came to the show, they came to the party. They're there to meet us, and they're there to meet the musical guests. I mean, Robert Plant cut a swath through through the through the talent. But this was Huey Lewis, and a great guy. And we're talking at the bar, and Huey said, "I don't think anybody should go home alone tonight. Anybody want to go home with us?" And these young ladies raised their hand. All right. So we get into Huey's limousine, the four of us, and Huey is having sex next to me. I've never wanted to tell the story, and now I'm going forward with it, and it gets to Huey's people and said, "This is a lie." Well,
Well, he won't hear it, unfortunately.
yeah, there you go. I, as close as my arm is here, was watching Huey, have passionate relations.
So what were you doing? Twiddling your thumbs with your,
I was just watching with my now date.
what were
No,
you trying to have a conversation with you? Like,
I,
so,
I don't recall. I think we were just giggling, but also knowing that the other end, when we get dropped off, it's going to be our turn. But I
right,
wasn't going to,
right,
do this with Huey.
right. Yeah,
I
good for you.
wasn't going to show him my news.
So did they go the whole 9 yards? I don't know. I don't know. It's 9 yards. Why don't you go the whole 10 yards?
Well, I think they say the whole 9 yards. I'd say
Yeah.
they went 4.5 yards.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, because it could be. Wow. All right. Well, hey, that's Huey, and that's the news
Yeah,
about
there
that.
you
And it
there
is
you go.
unfortunate. So now he did lose his hearing. It's a serious
Yeah,
thing. It was kind of
yeah.
weird. And I had met him a couple of times too, and the sweetest, nicest guy in the world. Yeah,
Mhm.
really good. So
Well, sure. At that time, he was a huge MTV star.
yeah,
Got to get
totally.
a new drug was what he did
And
on
totally, and
SNL that
open
night.
to it, and open to it. I think we probably should wrap it up, but I do
Yeah.
want to say this: the thing about like some of the musicians that came into the studio were so nice. Joe Cocker, I always talk about Joe Cocker, was the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Um, the, uh,
Who
the
wasn't?
they enjoyed um, just the whole thing. It was
Well,
the
they knew
young,
what it was worth to them too.
yeah,
You have
yeah.
great value. That's
I
to
don't think they were
those
thinking of
artists.
that. I really don't think that they were thinking of that. I think that just as they matured, they realized kindness was a good thing.
Who was an asshole?
All the young ones, the Adam Ants and those people, because
That's
they're young
interesting.
and they're millionaires.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because Robert Plant was very approachable.
Yeah,
Huey Lewis was.
and I don't
Freddie
think it had any.
Mercury was.
I don't think it had anything to do with other than the fact that as they got a little older, they start and had to work for a living, started to appreciate. You know, it's just as easy to be nice to somebody. Whereas I'll tell you the other person who was a jerk, but now I kind of like him was John Cougar Mellencamp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was just
Johnny Cougar
well,
at the
he
time,
was
huh?
one of those guys, one of those people, I shouldn't say guys, but one of those people that felt as though the music was the music. Let's not fuck with the music and make it, these stupid videos with girls dancing. You're cheapening the music, you know? I don't want to be a video star. I
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
a
yeah,
musician.
yeah.
So there were those people, and you got to respect that. I mean, I totally get it. Yeah.
Well, it reminds me, and I know we're going to wrap up in a second here. One of the things I also enjoyed was, Bruce Springsteen didn't know, he didn't stump for, I don't think he was doing videos back then in the
Nobody did an
early to mid
interview. I
80s.
produced the show. I produced
Yeah.
the Bruce Springsteen
But
thing.
he
That's
wasn't, he was not commercializing his music in any way. He did do We Are the World, and so we did this Billy Crystal as Prince. And I got a chance to, do Springsteen. We are I came out there
mm,
and I did a pretty good job. And I read something recently that Prince himself saw that
mm.
and loved it and mentioned that Springsteen came out. And I thought, wow, you forget sometimes when you're in the business, even when you're on camera, that it actually has an impact, that there are 12 million people or whatever, and somebody may notice what you did. It never
Oh
occurred
yeah,
to me that Prince liked that sketch and I came out as Bruce
to-
Springsteen, which probably means Bruce Springsteen saw me doing Bruce Springsteen, and I kind of wonder what he thought.
of course, of
Bruce?
course. Well,
Maybe Bruce is one of the 8 watching the Gary and Kenny show.
oh, if that was true, I think he's busy. Anyhow, yeah, this was a great almost hour, Gary.
I enjoyed this, Kenneth. I
Do you
needed
feel
this.
better? Because I know
I
this.
do feel better. We didn't get into a lot of politics, and I'm glad for that. We can
Okay.
do that another time. We can just talk MTV stories. I'd like to just sit back with a little bit of schnapps in my coffee and listen to you.
Well, that's nice. Yeah, it's good. I guess it'll be reliving these moments will help with my memory loss because
Are you having memory loss?
I'm sorry, who's asking?
All right, very good. But are you?
No, I'm I'm having the same memory loss that we all have. I walk into a room and go, "Why am I here?"
But you've been doing that for 25
I've been
years
doing
too,
that for
right?
20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, me
No,
too.
I'm finding that just exercising these
Yeah,
memories
yeah,
are opening up other memories that I
yeah.
wouldn't thought of. That's what I thought.
All right.
So
Well,
yeah, and I actually thought I was going to tell a Madonna story, but I'll tell that another time.
tell that next time.
I
All right,
will.
until next time and until the Madonna story. And I'd like to hear the Madonna story, by the way.
Hmm.
Thank you, folks, whomever you may be, for watching and or listening to the Gary and Kenny Show. Watch us on YouTube. We'd love it if you went to the Gary and Kenny Show, gave us comments, asked questions, criticisms, changes, things that you like. Which one of us do you like better? We're open to all of these things. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. You can find us on DBTV, which is a streaming service, I think available on Roku, and we're on all the popular podcast platforms. So until next time, I'm Gary, that's Kenny. So long.
Thanks. Bye.